How do we find time to do things when it seems there's not enough hours in a day? Is there a way that we can maximize the time available to us? And how do we live our life in a way that we make every moment count more? Today's episode is about time. How much we have, how much we use it, how we find it. Time is one of those resources that, on paper, everyone has an equal measure. At the same time, there's something almost magical about how we experience it. You can be deeply immersed in something and suddenly hours disappear. And in other moments, time seems to move very slowly. So where do we sit with all the activities we go through every day? And how do we make that time count? This episode comes from a conversation I had this week that made me reflect on how differently people see time. This week I met a friend in London. We had a really good catch-up. We worked together around 15 years ago, and since then we have both followed our own paths. We started reflecting on our professional journeys, then moved into personal life. I spoke about moving to Cambridge, and he shared how his life has evolved with family and a newborn to arrive very soon. At one point, I mentioned that I'm writing books, and he asked me a simple question. How do you find the time? It was a very valid question. With a busy career and family life, time can feel extremely limited. When I heard that question made me realize that, yes, I had to agree. How do I actually do it? How do I fit everything in? So let's cover that from a neurodiversity perspective in terms of how I approach the management of time. Before then, let me present a situation I had. There was a period in my past when my time felt like it disappeared completely. I was working away from home, only returning a few days each week, and my routine was very simple. Office all day, then complete exhaustion in the evening, staying in a bed and breakfast away from home. Those evenings were quiet and just monotonous, nothing new. I would have something to eat, maybe go for a drink, sometimes go to the cinema. Nothing real, nothing structure, no clear intention. I listened to podcasts, I watched a few films that I no longer remember, and read some books that didn't stay with me. Looking back, most of that time simply vanished. Very little of it connected in a meaningful way to me, except perhaps a few ideas from personal development that I listened back then and might be now the reason that I'm so into this creation of podcasts and writing. And this is where the idea of the time paradox comes in. We often use expressions like, I have time to kill. That phrase alone says a lot. Why would we want to kill time? Usually it means we are waiting for something else, something we consider more important. So we fill the gap with whatever is easiest. Scrolling through social media, watching a video on YouTube, passing time without intention, really just making time away. The question my friend asked me came from genuine curiosity. For him, writing a book seemed incompatible with every everyday life. The assumption was that there simply isn't enough time. When I reflected on it more deeply, I realized something important. Time is limited. Yet when we have a clear objective, time can be found. It comes down to priorities. Once professional responsibilities, family commitments, and personal needs are in place, there may still be a small pockets of time available. Alternatively, time can be created by deciding what truly matters. Either way, time exists where maybe before we thought could not happen. I share with him one of the ways I write my books. I use dictation. When I'm in situations where I cannot sit down with a laptop, for example, standing in a supermarket, queuing, in a car journey or a train standing. In those moments, I capture ideas. Later, I organize and refine them. For me, this feels natural because it has become part of my routine. For him, it was surprising, and at the same time, it made immediate sense. It opened a different way of thinking about time. There is also a deeper layer behind this. My motivation to write has evolved. At the beginning, it was partly a challenge, partly curiosity, something I wanted to try for myself. Over time, it has become more meaningful. Knowing that people now engage with what I created, that someone might benefit from it, creates a strong internal drive. Feedback reinforces that. It gives purpose on the time invested. Coming back to time, the key is awareness. When you are conscious of time and clear about your purpose, you begin to see opportunities that were previously invisible. Take a simple example. Standing in a queue for 5 minutes, what can you do? Probably nothing. Let's revisit that. The same 5 minutes can be spent in many ways. Do you choose to scroll through social media? Or do you get a note on your smartphone and you dictate a thought, what could be a poetry, something for a book, or what could be an email you want to send to someone? Scrolling through social media or other forms of distracting can be also frustrating and diverts from the real direction of travel. Whereas capturing an idea, sending a message to someone, reconnecting with a friend with a quick call, it's a better use of time. The time itself did not change. What changed is your approach to time. So when you have time available, your perception will change as well. It will no longer feel that it's time that sometimes you have to kill. It will make you think, how can I use this time? How can I invest in it so it contributes to something? As you're listening to this, you might already be thinking about your own time. You are spending time listening to me and this podcast. And might be one moment where you decide what to do next, reflecting on how you spend the day. So I can say to you, thank you for listening and putting the time, because I value it enormously. And I really wish that this episode helps you to see time differently, even slightly. If that's the case, I'm very grateful. Thank you for listening to today's episode. With a time that is limited and you have choices, knowing that you listen to my podcast means a lot. And I also wish that you have taken a perspective from time that might not have had before. Particularly if you are from a specific neurodiversity that makes you see time in a way that cannot be used as you wish. Have shared my perspective from an ASD brain and how we put a lot of thought process on how to use time sometimes, and that allows us to go forward with a perspective that you might consider might help you and benefit you. So as we move forward, and I look forward to the next episode, I would really wish that you have taken a different point of view of time from this episode, and from the moment you stop listening it, you start thinking how you're going to use the rest of your time today in a better way to benefit you. And until the next episode we have, I wish you are safe and well. Speak then.